A product of Harvard and Notre Dame, highly successful entrepreneur and speaker Paul Moya has inspired innovative thought and positive change in the corporate and leadership sectors all over the globe. He is the former national president and leader of more than 500,000 members and has drawn anxious crowds to his engagements in nearly all 50 states and 3 continents worldwide. Referred to as the next big thing amongst Generation Y speakers, Paul is working to bridge the gap between the leaders of today and the leaders of tomorrow.
Today is about what is possible, not about what is probable. You know, at the height of my confusion, I finally turned to the guy and I said, look, tell me what all of this means. I said, what is that part right there? What's the advantage to having that? And he said, oh, well, it makes the bike lighter. I said, okay, and what about that part there? He said, that makes the bike lighter. And I said, what about this carbon fiber fork? What does that do? That's an extra $500. What does that do? What's the advantage there? And he said, oh, that, sir, you're gonna want that. I said, well, great. He said, that's gonna make a huge difference. I said, well, tell me about it. He said, that's gonna change the way you ride the bike forever. I said, well, tell me what it does. He said, that right there, that lowers the overall weight of the bike by 4 ounces. 4 ounces! I said, look, buddy, I eat dessert every night and I hardly ever work out. Do you really think a carbon fiber fork that weighs 4 ounces less is gonna make any difference? So Domino's Pizza launched an entire marketing campaign. If you remember, they had a commercial with the CEO saying, we messed up. And the person right after the CEO speaking was a consumer who said, your pizza tastes like cardboard. And Domino's Pizza paid for this advertisement. Do less, but do it better. Now let's take a step back. Question to the audience. What company comes to mind when we think about innovation? When we think about the ultimate selling and innovative machine, who do we think of? Apple. Everywhere I go, people always say Apple. We love their stores, we love their website, and we certainly love their products. It doesn't matter where I am, East Coast, West Coast, outside of the country, people always say Apple when I ask that question. But the problem is we spend so much time focusing on the fact that we believe Apple is incredibly innovative that we miss the best lesson of all. Because innovation didn't just magically happen for Apple. When Steve Jobs returned, the product line was at 15 products. Steve Jobs stepped in, he cut down the product line from 15 products to 4 products. And then he hired the best people in the world and told them to do less, but do it better. So how did it turn out for Domino's? Well, it turns out that honesty pays. In this case, quite a bit. After Domino's made a new recipe, launched this new marketing campaign, their sales increased by over 200%. 200%. Now, let's look at it from this perspective. Let's think about it from the average. Or more importantly, let's think about it from the Generation Y or Millennials perspective. Everybody in this room has led Gen Ys and Millennials, so we know what their attention span is. We live in an age where people are so focused on masking problems, on putting band-aid solutions on challenges, that when somebody is willing to admit their shortcomings, it is so refreshing. People rarely change outside of relationships. They change because they want to be like you. They change because they are influenced by you. If Samsung did not have 47 million different types of phones, coming out with one every other day, and you all know this is true because you probably saw a commercial for the new Galaxy 275 this morning, I can tell you my experience at Harvard in 5 seconds. 5 seconds is all I need to tell you the most important lesson I learned while I was at Harvard, and it's simple. Ideas are worthless. The store manager said, sir, let me ask you 2 questions. Question number 1, how much time do you spend on average every single day trying to keep the squirrels out? Bill thought about it for a second. He said, well, about 15 minutes a day. Store manager said, yeah, that's what I thought. He said, question number 2, how much time do you think per day that the squirrels spend trying to get in? The answer, every waking squirrel moment. I looked it up. Squirrels are unique in the animal kingdom. Squirrels spend 98% of their waking time looking for food. Squirrels would rather eat than procreate. They would rather forage than fool around. That is the focus of the squirrel. Now, if that seemed to go by really fast, that's because it did. Now, that is not 6 seconds, that is 1.8 seconds. That is the amount of time that his company found was the average click-off time on a 6-second Vine video. 1.8 seconds. Now, this is a movie preview for one of my favorite movies, Batman. Tell me what you can see in that 1.8 seconds that makes you so bored, so disgusted, where you say, God, that is 1.8 seconds I will never get back.